To the 36th June. Do you think it's time, June? I sent the locker down, feeling a calm that I didn't feel. Two, I wasn't great at masking my emotions, no matter what they were. Break the signs, said William, leaning his arm over the locker and blocking me. I ducked under him. I would call you again last night, but my mom had his dinner. What dinner? He asked, watching me dog earing his science book. His science book. Didn't James tell him? Didn't James tell him? Didn't James tell him? There were two options, lie or the truth. I was at James's house. He knitted his blonde brows. What? Didn't know it was his house when I went there. Oh, our parents are organizing an exhibition. But what do I know? I grumbled, irritated. James told me you were at his house the other night. Yeah, because you disappeared, I clarified, confronting him with my gaze. I avoided him with my gaze. Didn't forget about you. I asked him to stay away. I asked him to, I asked him to stay with you. I heard heavy steps coming closer, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw a familiar silhouette approach us. James passed by us, chewing gum without acknowledging us. He actually bothered to put it on his uniform this morning. The jacket was tight on his shoulders while he untied while his untied tie slid in a disorderly way on his shirt. His hair was messier than usual, and it didn't have any gel in it. Will you have will you have dinner at my place one of these days? William's suggestion piqued my curiosity. Why? I asked quickly, without hiding my skepticism. He let me down countless times. Inviting me to dinner wasn't enough to make me forget what happened. To introduce you to my parents, he declared calmly. I raised my eyebrows. I raised my eyebrows. I raised my eyebrows. Uh, when do when do they get back? Tomorrow. I sigh. I don't know, Will. What you said the other day made me think. Really, June, if we aren't honest with each other from the start, we risk laying the groundwork for a non-existing relationship. Maybe it's just me because lies scares me away, I said. He smiled, running his fingers through the hair on the nape of his neck. Are you always this direct? I didn't know how to answer that. Maybe maybe I given him the impression that I was so insecure that I'd accept anything just to be with a guy as hot as he was. It's true. Well, you want me to hold a grudge against you for 2 days, not to for 2 days not answering your messages, and then play hard to get so you can apologize for the millionth time. I I can. But I don't care about your apologies. I don't like those kind of games. If you want to be with me, I'm just asking one. I'm just asking one for one thing. Honestly, it's not hard. My work seem it's not hard. My words seem to strike a chord. I noticed it when the I noticed it when his crystal clear gaze intensified. intensified. Yeah, but the girls I've been involved with before didn't unusually recent like that. You're really mature, he asserted. Do you think you could just show up with a pretty do you think you could just show up with that pretty face of yours and everything would fall into place? I teased him I teased with a hint of sarcasm. I was hoping, smiling. He shook his head to ruffle his hair, then became serious. All the jokes aside, I agree with you. I just want to get to know you better before I tell you everything. Now I was skeptical. The line between pathological lies and mistrusting others was blurry in this case. You always with Ari, Puppy, and Amelia, and those three are known for keeping their mouths shut. Well, you always with James. W- w- What should I say? We heard a cough behind us. It was. We heard a cough behind us. It's wonderful to be the couple of the year's favorite subject. But haven't you got anything better to talk about? James knocked on his door. James knocked on his locker door and then pretended to smile at me. William took my hand and kissed me. Nasty. I heard James remark. Shouldn't you three be in class? The your teacher ran up next to us and rebuked us. Of course, it's just that Romeo and Snow White are weird and enacting high, s- high school musical. How you seen how they make up? Let it go. He just jealous. His hateful, not his hateful, not jealous. His hateful, not jealous. Murmured as Will checked the time on his phone. Have to go. The teacher's calling to interrogate the people who did badly on their history exams. He leaned in to kiss me, but I pursed my lips again, limiting it to a peck. Okay, see you later, Mama. With what little enthusiasm I had left. With what little enthusiasm I had left. Will and James walk away as I put my science books in the locker. June, I jumped when I heard Brian's voice in the distance. Come help me with something. I turned around to see him knee deep in string and leaves. What is all this? I'm decorating for Fall Fest, he answered, trying to untie the tangled strings. Wasn't Ari going to take care of that? We were supposed to do it together. He seemed tense as he handled the decoration, twitching nervously. Where is she? I haven't seen her in a while. I commented. The school doesn't have a ladder. Does that seem normal to you? He answered, waving his arms around. What's going? What was going on? Why was it such a sore subject? Ryan handed me an enormous poster. Do you trust me? He asked me. What do you mean? What do you mean? Can you read? Can you reach if I lift you up? I looked up to where he was pointing. Did I really have to have him hang all these banners? I'll host I'll host you up. You put I'll host you up. You sit on my shoulder and hang this there. I stare at him. I stare at him. I'm really heavy. You used to lift in Norway who's light as a feather. You're heavy? In what universe? He exclaimed, leaving me speechless. I smiled at the ready compliment. The truth was that I was about 20, maybe 30 pounds heavier than Ari. I didn't know Brian Ian well, but from what I could tell, there was a mix of sweetness and fragility under all that armor. I'll help you, I conceded. Brian handed me a little metal hook grabbed my hips and up lifted me until I could reach the top of the wall. You tried out for cheerleading, I told him from up high. June, come on, June, come on, put the hook in the hole. I laughed. What's so funny? I mean, put the little hook in the hole. He corrected himself. He corrected himself, cracking me up even more. Cracking me up even more. His hands held me firmly, but at some point they started there to tickle. You there! I shouted from above. Move quickly. I'm absolutely. You there! I shouted from above. Move quickly. I'm about to lose you. Unaware of how ticklish I was, he pretended to lose me, making me laugh even more. Brian, what? God damn it. He lost his grip, and we both fell. Sorry, he exclaimed, frightened when we landed on him. Sorry, he exclaimed, frightened when I landed on him. No, I'm sorry. I'm incredibly ticklish. I pushed myself up, leaning on his shoulders. It's better that I was the one who fell on you. Otherwise, you would kill me with all these muscles, I joked. Rain stared at me bewildered. Just giving him a compliment, and that seemed to make him, and that seemed to make him uncomfortable. Maybe Will was right. I was too direct. I pushed up on Brian's arm to get up. He really was well built under that shirt. I never noticed. And surely this isn't the time to notice that. I scolded myself. When Brian got up on his shoulders, I mean, sorry. When Brian got up on his elbow, I felt his pelvis thrust under my skirt. My eyes went wide. My eyes went wide with embarrassment as I realized that I was strangling him. I felt guilty. I got up confused. He did the same. I gotta go now. He sputtered agitated. I remember that I have math. You can help me another time. I was fixing my skirt when a deep, grating voice took me by surprise. Well, who do we have here? Oh my god, no. Everyone. Oh my god, no. Everyone. The president. The elementary school teacher who hated me. Even my mom. I could have put up with anyone else, but not him. Not James Hunter. Weren't you going to class for a history repub quiz? I asked acidly. I'm certainly not going to class to get interrogated. What are you doing here? James was leaning against the wall, bringing a water bottle up to his lips to take a long sip. I don't know about you, but I got an A minus on the test, I retorted fiercely. Hold on. You want another grade for the show you just put on? I fell. Don't give me shit. The way I answered him made him giggle. He followed me when I started walking. Smooth move, Slick. He quipped. Look who's talking. So normally you fall down on on other people's balls. Wait, are you fuck? Are you looking for my knees to fall on yours by any chance? I asked. Then he stopped me in the middle of the hallway. Hunter, cut it out. You're insulting something I don't like. I don't like it. "Wh- What don't you like it? Hearing the truth? That you were straddling the asshole Brian Hood on the floor? I wasn't. I don't know how to react for a moment. What did he care? I put my fist on my lips. I put my fist. I put my fist on my hips. Say that again, and I swear I'll slap you. His, he licked his teeth, looking amused. Then he lifted his chin and kept staring at me. But what does say wrong? It's nothing from me. What about for you, too, taunted, he taunted, summoning, summoning a few teammates who had appeared in the hall. I just had to tell, I just had to tell Will about it. We'll see that he has to say about it. It was an accident. He's such a James smirked at me. He lifted up his water bottle, and before I could act, he sprayed it all over me. I backed away instantly, and I felt the cold water pour all over me, down to my stomach. Oops, that was an accident too, he said, amused. I heard the girl behind him laugh, and when I looked down, I saw my white shirt turning translucent and exposing my bra. Have you lost your mind? I screamed, but you didn't seem to care. He pushed me against the locker. Dumbass meathead, I growled. Say that again, White, he prodded. Was that what does that turn you on, Hunter? Why didn't I know how why didn't I know how to keep my mouth shut when he was near me? He took that as an invitation to leer up and down my body, stopping at the curves of my breasts protruding from a blouse. I felt a breathless I felt I felt breathless when he licked his lips slowly and then bit his lower lip. I don't know why I don't know why are you? If he said this with with his usual tone, I would have pushed him away. But he just whispered it so seductively. We looked at each other's mouths and consumed them with furtive glances. It lasted, it lasted the blink of an eye. But now it was done. I was at risk. I should have fled to the North Pole. I should have booked the first ticket on the Hot Mess Express. I saw him and he saw me. James leaned his elbow against a locker behind me. His arms looked over my head, and his wrists dangled over my nose. He curled a lock of my hair between his fingers, and I turned to stone when I saw his sparkling, clean, red eyes. Quit acting like this. Slowly he gazed the side of my neck with the tip of with the tip of his index finger, sending a chill down my spine. But look at how much we but look at how much we're finding out. What are you talking about? I don't know. That you like me? You disgust me, Hunter. You disgust me, Hunter. But his burning lips pressed against my ear. He let out an imperceptible moan, moan and warm breath that made my knees weak. It's mutual, White, he whispered hoarsely. I I ignored the emptiness tense. I I ignored the emptiness, intense chill, and froze against and froze against my locker as he walked away. Ah, I forgot. Try to talk to me again, and I'll make you never want to set foot in this school again, he said. I really don't, returned irritated. He joined his friend. Let's go. I don't know why I waste time with this one. I know why, Marvin interrupted nonchalantly. Shut up, Marvin. When I hurried myself into the bathroom, I found Amelia fixing her messy hair with her fingers. Lieutenant Cajun, what happened to you? I asked, noticing her blouse sadly wrinkle around her waist. Amelia immediately redirected her attention to me and my uniform, which was now soaked. What happened to you? James Hunter, I replied succinctly, as if that was enough for an explanation in and of itself. Unlike herself, unlike her usual self, didn't didn't wink at me this time. Didn't wink, didn't wink at me. Didn't wink at me. And then, unlike her usual self, didn't wink any me this time. She seemed particularly distracted this morning. Okay, okay, but get it out now so I can change. I thought, I thought staring at her. I was embarrassed to change. I was embarrassed to get changed in front of everyone, boy or girl. But I had to get back to class as soon as possible, and Emilia didn't seem to pay. And Emilia didn't seem to be paying attention to me. So I unbuttoned my shirt. I didn't have a change of clothes in my backpack except for an extra large T-shirt that I used for gym class. In Ari, I asked putting the shirt over my uniform skirt to not expose myself too much. Can you believe that I can take? Can you believe that I can't talk to her? Are you coming to tropical class tonight? Who's we? I asked, I asked skeptically. Every once in a, every once in, every once in a while, my mom possessed me with me and Poppy. I tried to convince Ari too, but it doesn't seem like she wants to talk to me lately. She remembered coming up behind me as I put on my sweatpants. Something happened. I made a facial expression hardened. Don't tell anyone, but I think she left Brian for someone else, she whispered. What? Do you know anything? Oh no, nothing, I lied. I breathlessly, do you know anything? Oh no, nothing. Do you know anything? Oh no. No, no nothing, I lied breathlessly. Okay, we'll see each other later tonight. I'll tell you if there are any updates. I went back to class. I went back to class the next hour, full of thoughts. I found James, Jackson, and Marvin leaning against the door like three vultures. The, the latter must have just made a joke because his friends were scolding him. Enough with this shit, Marvin, said James. What do you want? The heart want. What do you want? The heart wants what it wants. Marvin laughed. Giving me a once over? Yeah, sure. Yeah, the heart. Sure, James replied, without moving an inch when I passed him by. I don't like her that much. She already really busy with Will Hood. Those words caught my attention. I told you it was an accent. But even if it wasn't, don't you not get that it's none of your business? Marvin and Jackson barely held back their laughter. They seemed to get a kick out of seeing a girl standing up to James. And I saw now, and I was now, and I was now an expert at that. He looked at me speechless. Do you dare to talk to me like that again? Don't you dare talk to me like that again? Do you understand, Hunter? Oh, what? Huh? How do you feel about getting kicked? How do you feel about getting knee in the balls? He pushed his tongue into his cheek and blocked me when I tried to go back in class. To go back in class. He pushed his tongue into his cheek and blocked me when I tried to go back when I tried to go back into class. Didn't forget it, Mr. Jackson between laughs. I don't know if I want to. She acts like such a goody two shoes. But then I lifted my arm to show him, but he grabbed my wrist before I could touch him. The dickhead had great reflexes. You're hurting me, I hissed in his satisfied face. You know I could do worse. What's going on here? Asked Mr. Beckett, walking toward the class. When he saw James crushing my wrist, he added, Vice Principal's office, Hunter. Get going, sucker. I I chuckled triumphantly, but I cried victory too soon because James shot the teacher a challenging look. Mr. Beckett, are you sure? He seemed to change his mind unexpectedly. I'm, he cleared his throat. Both of you. Both of you. Both of you. Right in the vice principal's office. What? He was grabbing my wrist. Are you blind? I said both. Don't argue. Are you deaf? James asked, patting me on the back before passing me by. Aaron finished my homework for me. He ordered his he ordered his friend. He ordered his friend. Do you do you only have do you only have slaves now? You don't even know how to quiet. He spat as we walked through quiet his spat as we walked through hallway at the safe distance apart. What a moron. You want to talk with your big mouth that landed us in vice principal office. You're so terrifying, Hunter. Shima put in a lot of effort that night, huh? I say with rage. Yours did, White. She couldn't wait to drop she couldn't wait to drop a nice pair of M MILF panties in my bed. Panties in my bed. In my in, in my dad's bed. In my dad's bed. I stopped. I don't know what kind of woman you're used to in your family, but that wouldn't but that would never happen. You're so naive, he muttered, pulling out a couple packet from his pants pocket. What are you insulting? He gave me a malicious smile before biting his vape pen. Do you think they haven't been born yet? I cover my ears. I cover my ears with both hands. La la la. I'm not listening. You're such a fucking child. The relationship is strictly professional. I explained, trying to convince myself of it as well. Yeah, sure. They're fucking talking about paintings. Great work, huh? Cut it out. I felt my cheeks flush. You're so funny. Me. James pushed a finger on my cheek so hard that it stung. You're turning red. You never turn red. You're talking about my mom. Are you embarrassed by sex? Wait, what are you, 12? I punched his stomach, but I had, but that, but that had, but that had no effect on him. He dodged the second one, pushing himself against me. You don't have to use the excuse that you want to fight me, just just to touch me, Snow White. You wish. You don't scare me, Hunter. I tell you that until I'm blue in the face. Oh no, you shake every time I'm near you. I felt out of breath again. Do you think I didn't notice? I can't wait to tell Will what a dick you're being to me. Try to tell him anything and I'll tell him you like rubbing up against that asshole hood. My ears rang in embarrassment. Try to do better than that, Hunter. If you think they'll separate us, you're wrong. Just because he invited you to meet his parents? Are your dad really are you that really that sure about it? Doubt warmed its way into my head. Why should I be? James burst out laughing. James burst out laughing. Walk away. James burst out James burst out laughing. Walking walking away. Con- con- Congratulations. Have fun. Wait. What are you going? The vice principal office is that way. I hollered I hollered as he walked away. Pass along a message to the vice principal for me. What kind? Tell him he lifted his middle finger like a moron. He was a lost cause. Why was I wasting my time with someone like him? With someone like him. I grabbed my phone out of my pocket. I grabbed my phone out. I grabbed my phone out of my locker and texted William. June said, Are you going to Tropical tonight?" William said, "Only if you dare." The series. Day 7. Well, Day 7. Day 7. In June. Poppy, Amelia and I have been sitting on the cafe louses at Trabacom for around 10 minutes. Amelia ordered a Coke Zero for everyone, even though I prefer regular Coke. Will's here, Poppy exclaimed, janking my jacket sleeve. June, where are you going? Amelia's question was veiled with a reprimanded with a reprimand when she saw me stand up to see Will. I replied, as it is was the most normal thing in the world. Are you kidding? He's the one who should be coming over here to your friends. You shouldn't be the only. You shouldn't be the. You shouldn't be the one always going over to him and his friends. That seems so underhand. Dad, don't don't simp, she commanded. You're you're all good at telling the others that, commented Poppy. I decided to follow her advice even though I hated playing mind games. And after a little while, William joined us. May I? He asked before sitting next to me. Amira nodded, then gave me a conspiratorial look. William ignored her and put his arms around me. Do you really end up in the principal office today? Vice principal office. But how come this school doesn't seem to have a re, to have a principal anymore? Of course there's one. But what he said to you. Apparently since I threw a ball in Blaze's face the other week and I tried to slap James and I tried to slap James today. I had to keep I had to be kept under control. William laughed. I don't know about Blaze, but I better I don't know about Blaze, but I better don't know about Blaze, but I bet the later I don't know about Blaze, but I bet the later the later deserve it. I laughed, but the carefree moment was short-lived us. The rest of the vice principal words came to mind. Then he gave us an assignment to do together. Imagine, Williams called, and his smile hardened suddenly. With James, at the moment, the notion at the moment the main door flew open, and the subject of conversation appeared with the new girl. The the cold air from outside touched the nape of my neck and ran down my spine as I feared to look him up and down. His hair was combed back, giving him a more dose sophisticated look, highlighting his cheekbones. Of course, he was wearing his signature. His of course, he was wearing his signature leather jacket with his arm around the girl. He swaggered around the place until he reached our table. I don't know why, but a voice that sounded dead enough for that like my mom echoed in my head. June Mayline White. Yeah, but I had no intention of doing an assignment with him. I'd do it alone and put his signature on it. I will play after a bit of delay. June, we still have to talk. Stammer Will. Stammer Will. When I saw James, his eyes turned toward us. My stomach did a flip. Look, let's have fun tonight, okay? I said to Will, kissing him on the lips when we pulled away from each other. James was still standing there, but he didn't pay any attention to us. Drinks, drinks for everyone. On me, he announced, throwing his wallet at William. Will hit it to the counter, and James walked away. I took advantage of William's absence to slide next to Amelia. What are you thinking, June? She asked, seeing how pensive I was. How's your brother? Are you s- are you trying to steal my thunder? She burst out laughing, meaning answering a question with another question. Careful, I'm an expert at that. I'm an expert at that. I know why you're doing it. I didn't mean to dodge the question. You two are cute together, really. She continued, jerking her head at William, who was waiting in line. We never kissed like that in front of everyone. She smiled. Chill. It wasn't anything scandalous. In fact, what? Well, Will seemed like a pretty reserved guy to me. You said that like it's a bad thing, Grumble. A bad guy, a bad thing. You said that is like a is you said that like it's a bad thing. I grumble. A bad thing. It is a bad thing. It is. In fact, it's very bad. She answered, pointing at James Hunter, leaning against the counter with his hand on the girl's butt. I recognized the girl from the other night. Someone had told me she was Marva's cousin. Who's that? Amelia asked. Marva's cousin, Melanie. But tell me about Brian. How is she? He's not the one to express his emotions. He looks like he's doing great, rather than you think about knowing him. Oh, speak of the devil. Amelia raised her arm at the door. Later, Brian had just walked in. Brian said hi to her quickly and stared at me for a few seconds. Then he smiled at me with his expression got dark after a moment. William walked up behind me with a round of bubble teas. Brian sat with us, and I appreciated the fact that even though he didn't talk too well, they at least managed to sit at the table. They at least managed to sit at the same table without biting each other's head off. Where Blaze run to? Where Blaze run off to? Asked Amelia, taking a sip of Brian's. and taking a sip of tea. Brian looked at her furtively, not happy to smell the vodka spiking his not happy to smell the vodka spiking his his sister's drunk. Not, not happy to smell the vodka spiking his sister's drink. Do you say here to control me? She yelled him. Me? I'm actually here for June. The dark-haired guy turned around while Will squeezed my side even tighter. Amelia tried to pass me the vodka filled water bottle, but I turned it down. No thanks, I don't drink. Jamie, why don't we dance? Jamie, why don't we go dance? I heard Marvin Cousins' voice getting closer and closer until she reappeared with James. He now rolled his eyes at Brian, not feeling it. I'm going to wait, he replied briskly. Disappointed, Manly sat down with us. Girls, come on, at least you guys. She blurted, blinking her thick, fake eyelashes. Poppy, jump, jump at the speed of light. At the speed of light. Happy jump, happy jump at the speed of light, followed by Amelia, who chugged the rest of her drink all at once to her brother's fury. I meant, I need air. June, she asked, holding her hand out to me. I'm okay. Because we knee on the cheek and follow the girls to the middle of the dance floor. Any news from Ari? I whispered in the middle of the stair as we tried to make our way to the crowd. Do you think she ignored me? She sighed, furrowing her forehead. Okay, not bullshit. Who will you bang? Margaret's cousin? Pointing pointing at the table where we left the guys. Huh? I asked. Other than James, obviously. Otherwise there's no competition, she added, giving a very mysterious glance at the meathead who was about to leave. Why's Harness be why's Harness been up like that again? Jesus. It seems to occur to Amelia right then that James' eyes was black and blue and his lips was more swollen than usual. D- do you know anything about it, June? I shook my head. Lie number two. If I had if I had lie number two. If I was his dad, I'd start thinking about the eulogy I gave him I gave at his wake. So who will you bang? Just go by instinct. Otherwise it doesn't count. Instead, Melanie swaying her hips to the beat. Depends on the point of view. Depends on the point of view. If we're just talking about looks and not character. But hold on. Face or whole body? Probably eyes widen. Why are you talking so much? Say a name and that's it. It's not like you're marrying them tomorrow, my cousin teased. Jackson, he answered all in one breath. Well played. Yeah, me too, probably, the brunette answered, putting a finger on her lips. Considering that Brian's of them is since he's my best friend's ex, not to mention my other best friend's brother. Even then, now that I think about it, Papi Amelia rebuke Jackson definitely Jackson. She rushed to conclude. Jackson had a quirky sense of Jackson had a quirky sense of style, but he was definitely a good-looking guy. Shame he had a bad temper like his friend. I don't know. Jackson seemed really cute, but I muttered he's not William. More fussing giggled and put a hand on my shoulder. You really like the guy. You really like the good guys, don't you? Marvin eyes caught James walking back in. I swallow. I swallow. Yes, yeah, I sure do. So given that given that you guys don't seem to have understood them, this is listen to this, Taylor. There began without anyone asking her her opinion. Why is the ones scoring tonight? Why? Asked my cousin. Because Jackson doesn't like what's between our legs. Like, wake up. What are you talking about? He went to bed with Tiffany, and he's always with Sammy. I made his voice floating. Tiffany is my best friend, and trust me, she doesn't even know what Jackson's memory looks like. Taylor jerked her head at Jackson, who was now sitting on the couch in James' arms. Are you saying that Jackson's gay? How do you know that? Amelia seemed shocked and how now completely forgotten how to dance. Even if he was, so what? I interjected. Becky went out with him a bunch of times. The girls continued in disbelief. James sleep with him. Jackson never been with a girl, explained Taylor, with a little smile of someone who knew a thing or two. Cite your sources then. Instead, cite your sources then, insisted Poppy. But she just looked at us and didn't say anything else. She started to leave, so I grabbed her by her arms before she could be, before she could walk away. Before she could walk away. Why didn't before she could walk away? You did it on purpose, didn't you? Didn't answer. What Jackson do to you? Nothing. My room started this morning just when a busy buddy the like you got to school. Isn't that bad? I blinked several times. I was particularly confused. Who knows what will happen when they find out you told everyone why Ari dumped Brian. I didn't say shit. Taylor narrowed her eyes. Why, you're the other person beside me who knows about James and Ari. Remember one thing, what you do or don't do doesn't matter. All that matters is what other things, what they make of who you are. Welcome to 2025. Welcome to 2025. I suddenly realized that I had stopped breathing. Have a good night, honey. My boyfriend's waiting for me. My boyfriend's waiting for me. So I pushed a long lock of hair behind her. Shoulder, so I pushed a long lock of hair behind her shoulders and left strutting on her 3-inch heels. I don't believe I don't believe a word she said about Jax. She's just a liar. And probably once Taylor was out of earshot. I really hope so, said Amelia. A few days ago, I heard her say anything that I don't like at all. At that point, Amelia shot a convinced look at her brother, who was still sitting at the table, bored and sipping juice. I try, I try, try. Not to, but I couldn't help but look at Taylor's slim figure, standing on James' lap glued to his neck like a vampire. Her long, shining hair fluttered under her skin, fluttered under her shoulder, while one of her legs was between James' thighs. I couldn't help but notice how odd that group was. The girls always swapped places with the same guy. Many nearby's assumed that it was James who used them for a night, when in reality there was a strong possibility that it was possible, or maybe more simply, it was a reciprocal exchange. So it is true that they fight and always make a mother pointing at the couple. Tomorrow they go back to hitting each other again, explained probably grumbling, whatever floats his boat. It wasn't mine or anyone else's business, but we were all looking at them. She'll be she'll be the only the happy one tonight, exclaimed Marmy's cousin, biting her lip and looking at them sentimentally. So did someone invite you to be here with us? Interrupted Amelia furiously. The girl looked off her and walked away, muttering something under her breath. I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be back, I announced. I could barely see through rung of drunks, barely, con- barely conscious. People then very conscious people. Then I bumped into someone I recognized that sweet masculine fragrance immediately. I just did like nothing happened, but James walked into me again, this time on purpose. You know, I should thank you, White. I looked at his lips again for half a second. For what? For giving you a black eye? James nodded, keeping his eyes on me anytime. Keep in mind that I wasn't the only one who did it. I cleared my throat. Why should you thank me? He took his time to answer cognizant of his charm. Apparently, it gave me a wild touch. And who told you that bullshit? Surely some drunk chick. Surely some drunk shit. And who told you that bullshit? Surely some drunk chick. His mouth curved into a smile, clearly showing his dimples at the side of the cheeks. It wasn't James Harden. Would even thought he was adorable. What's the fire now? I snapped, upset by my momentary weakness. Nothing, he murmured, taking a step toward me. I found myself at the height of his mouth again. I wish I would adrenaline coursed through my stomach. I started feeling hot. I felt intoxicated, drunk, even though I only ever intoxicated, I felt intoxicated, drunk, even though I only drunk Coke. Your very friend and your sticker admirer your are over there. James Dick lower James Dick lower lip staring at mine. The bag that begs the question, what are you still doing here, Wei? His great voice sends a chill down my spine. I go to the bathroom, get out of the way, I snapped, trying to pass him by. I felt his furry eyes pouring all over me like white hot lava, so I turned around to shoot should one last look at him. Just continued to stare shamelessly at me. I wanted to put my hand I wanted to put my head underwater so badly. I spent the evening with him and the girls, mainly talking about school. At some point, Marvin Jackson suggested going somewhere else, so we followed them out, out of tropical. Where do you want to go? Asked William. Somewhere else. Want to come? I didn't expect William to be more precise with his answer. So I looked at the media for her opinion. She, she seemed pretty buzzed, but she but she shook her head. No, I took the time. It was already past midnight. I think I'll head I think I'll head home. I whispered as well pecked me on the lips one last time. Okay, where the fuck did Jackson go? Where the fuck did Jackson ended up? James came out waving his arms around. James came out waving his arms around. Don't get into trouble, I said to William, adjusting his jacket collar. James, James must have heard my advice because he left behind us. Everything's under control, Snow White. Oh, you think so I can sleep well tonight? Sweet dream, princess. I felt eating away inside me. Why was he behaving like this right now? Why he had to talk to me like that? In the meantime, Will was trying to call Jackson. When Margaret's cousin came out, James went back to his typical caveman behavior. He got her by her lips. He smiled at her and he kissed her. She kissed him back enthusiastically, but hesitated for a moment. When James started feeling up, when James started feeling up her tattooed thigh. Wait, where'd Blondie go? She asked, looking around. What blonde? I didn't see any blonde, he whispered. Taylor, she clarified. Taylor who? Disgusting. See you tomorrow. I said goodbye to William, who just put his phone back in his pocket. I reached Amelia, who was already sprawled against Brian's Range Rover. Don't even think about it, Brian shouted before grabbing the keys from her hands. What I do, she yelled. What I do, she yelled. You can't even talk normally. You're drunk and about to get behind the wheel. And about to get behind the wheel? What are you saying? I wanted to. I was, June said something to him. I heard a moan as she janked my arm. Lay down back there. You're, you're trash. You're trash, sweetheart. I have her stretched out on the back seat, where she took up all the space, forcing me to sit in front. Blaze, where are you? She whined, making me smile. The only new one not laughing was Ryan. Come on, let's go, please. I have to pee, exclaimed Poppy, rushing to the car. She took Amelia's legs and moved them to make space. Please, where are you? Amelia kept moaning as she collapsed against the car door like a wounded animal. Do you want to get a move on, Ryan? Poppy, Poppy urged. Can you, can you use the bathroom inside? Ew. Should we leave Blaze here? I asked. I looked for him among the crowds outside, but there was no trace of him. All of a sudden, I made a snicker and shot me a mischievous smile. Maybe he'll find a 6'3" blonde who will take him home tonight. What'd you say? Brian astounded, staring at her in the rearview mirror. Do you want me to pee on his seat because I'm about to? Hubby was really suffering now. I was thinking about Jackson. Amelia, just sleep till we get home. Please, I whispered, leaning toward the back seat to get the hair out of her eyes. He was not answering any of my texts. He must have stayed to talk with someone. He called me if he needs me, Brian said, putting the phone in his pocket. The pub is delayed. He finally started the car. I rolled down the window and waved goodbye to William. Darting my eyes at the drunk. I avoided darting my eyes at the dark figure towering next to him. I'm not going to ask you why you came back at this hour. Mom is one. I'm an hour late, and I warned you that I will be. I barely set foot in the house, and she already hitting. I barely set foot in the house, and hit the ground. She already hit the ground running. The vice principal, the vice principal called me. When? A girl was examining me in the front door this afternoon before I left the house. Where were you off to? Jordan's. She has no embarrassment. Ah, well, congratulations. She grimaced annoyed, and put her hands on her hips as if that could reinforce the menacing glare she was giving me. Listen, Dr. Dilly, don't talk back to me like that. You hear me? The vice principal told me you give a guy you, you give a guy a black eye. What? It was a mistake. It was because today you talked back to the English teacher and asked if he was blind. Was that by mistake? A chocolate slipped out of my lips. Come on, Mom. But she wasn't in the mood to joke around. No excuses, and you were about to assault your classmate today. That's not true. Mr. Bucket, Mr. Bucket, crossed him off my list of crushes. He was a liar. And why? And why are you coming home again with the smell of weed and alcohol all over you? What kind of people are you hanging around? I took off my Vans and threw them at the showrag. I always did that when I was angry. What about you, Mom? You're the one who's drooling over a guy like Jordan. She composed herself at me. She composed herself. She composed herself and shot me a condescending look. And why should that matter to you, June? You're not even going not to deny it. Are we at that point? I think it's ridiculous, I spat. Her face hardened and a few lines under her eyes accentuated her profile. You saw Jameson, yes or no? I stare her with my mouth open. Well, I'm waiting. I'm not dating him. But what's wrong? But what's wrong, Mom? I asked you if you saw him. Not if you were dating him, exasperated. By the argument, she sat on the couch and propped her forehead up with her hand. I'm dating his friend, I admitted it feebly. Mom had an unclear expression on her face. I want to meet him. Then, no. If your baby hero has something to do with the people you're hanging around, your outings are over. Your outings are over, she threatened. Meaning, I can't go out anymore? I watched her stand up, come closer, and take aim at me. You're going to Jordan's house tomorrow at 5. I don't know if she was serious or joking, but she seemed to be anything but joking. You're awful. Awful, I articulated. What do you say? I said, you care about me in awful, I said, you care about me in awful lot. I backtracked, remembering her threats. You're happy Jasper went to homework. End of story. Her tone made me jump out of nervousness. Oh no, I'm not setting foot in there again. I locked my heels in. You don't want to, you don't want me to see James and then you're sending me to his house? As a matter of fact, he won't be there. He's staying at a friend's house whose parents are traveling. Jordan asked me a favor. Jordan asked me Jordan asked me for a favor. I asked for you to listen. I'm not going, I declare. We'll see. Listen carefully. Ready, Mom? I spelled it out for you. I'm not going. She was used to much childish tantrums and didn't take me seriously. Something tells me you go, otherwise the rules will change. Like I'll take away your phone as soon as you get home. You won't go out anymore. I glare at April, the blackmailer extraordinaire. She pretended to be a painter in the gym when the truth was that she was a heartless bitch. I'm going to bed. I hollered, walking up the stairs in a rage. I brushed my teeth, put on my pajamas, and opened the window to let the fall breeze in. Beckett was being unfair, and he was originally only mad at James, who knew why he changed his mind. Not to mention that the vice principal gave me an assignment to do with that absolute moron. The mere thought of it made my throat close up until I almost couldn't breathe. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't, couldn't breathe. Couldn't breathe. Falling asleep proved to be difficult. I thought and turned until I seemed to have found an absolute until I seemed to have found an so I seemed to have found a solution to all my problems. I'm mentioning it carefully to Will, but it was really the feasible option. I do the assignment alone and told the vice principal I did it with James. But it was double the work, but at least I wouldn't be around that hateful creature. to the 8, Jackson. To the 8, Jackson. Are you avoiding me? No, please, of course not. Why would I? The sarcastic tone bothered him. I'm gonna try it on fixing my jacket just so I wouldn't look at him. Jackson. He took off his hat and a lock of hair fell in his forehead. Look, don't you have other friends? I admonished him. I was tense. Being near him always made me tense, and I didn't want the others to see us talking. All because you and I are friends. Bates raised his eyebrow. Did he always have to ask me that when I was 2 drinks in? 2 drinks in? I want to talk to you, he continued in a strangely firm voice. I laid my elbows on the bar and looked at the whiskey bottle behind the bartender's head again. Then talked instead of giving me a shit. He glared. He glared at me and then jerked his head toward Ramirez's group. Not here. I jumped when Blaze grabbed my arm and dragged me with him. Where'd this initiative come from? I see you know the place well, I taunted, but I stopped chuckling as soon as I saw him turn the handle on a door with a sign that said restricted. A strong smell of damp filled my nostrils as we entered. I, I saw unused towels, extra liquid, and unlimited quantities of canned dried fruit. I worked here last year. Remember, Jax? No, it was a dry denial, but apparently I wasn't so convincing because Blaze held back a smile. He was often hurt when I treated him like that, but right now he seemed rather sure of himself. You sure about that, Jackson? How could I forget it? You were rock hard when I put my hand down your boxers. Then it seems like you put up a fight that time, I ground really. Yeah, but you took it. Yeah, but you took the initiative. I was drunk, Blaze. Sure, like all the other times you kissed me. He always got on my nerves. He insisted on kissing, caressing, and different bullshit like a girl with her first crush. I couldn't stand him. Because when he looked at me, it managed to make me feel weird. James was thrown into juvie and I felt alone. What the fuck do you want me to say? That's what we did matter to me at all. Blaze didn't bet an eye. Instead of leaving or giving his unusual puppy eyes, this time he was more steadfast. I glanced at the door. He left it ajar. Did he really want to just talk? Blaze leaned toward me, so I sat back, bumping into a rickety table. There were trays of glasses piled one on top of the other, which teetered dangerously. The sound of glass smashing on the floor startled me, but he didn't seem to pay attention to the mess we just made. We just made. Blaze kept staring at me quizzically. Maybe my hesitation confused him. He knew I wasn't the type to back away. Usually he was the one with his back against the wall. But this time, the door stayed open. and I didn't want anyone to see us. You think we're friends? So you think we're friends? So you think we're friends? He probably making me lose my patience. Hey, weren't you going to tell me something? Get to the point, please. Even if they didn't say it, I already knew what the issue was. He always lives to talk, but then I held back. I should have held back too. I couldn't kiss him. What day I want to so badly. Damn, Blaze. He used his hand on my chest so forcefully that I swallowed. Look how reckless we are today. Try to defuse the detention. You're afraid of your friends finding out, aren't you? That was a reason for his newfound swagger. He felt like he had the upper hand. I had offered for as long as I could, then grabbed him by the shoulders, and his lips smashed into mine. It was just a kiss, but every time our tongues intertwined, something exploded, and I felt his clear, shrunk desire to deepen it. Jackson. I felt his veins vibrate against my tongue as I licked his neck. Fucking chill. I'm not, I'm not doing anything to you, I growled greedily, sucking on little bits of his flesh as I pushed my metal piercing into his hot skin, causing him to let out moans of pleasure. Jax, I don't want to do this. I just want to talk, he sighed. I rose. Talk if you can. I stuck my hands into the fabric of his sweater and to grab him and pull his body against mine, and felt a tremor as I heard his chest crash into mine. You're being a dick like always, he murmured. When I bit his lips, I tried to look at his eyes, but they looked elsewhere. He was trying to resist me. No, I'm not. I was just doing what I felt like doing. They. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Marriage? No. No, I'm not. I was just doing what I feel like doing. Why he always had to talk. I brushed my hand over his chest, which rose and felt like crazy. Then I felt my eager touch. I don't wonder why I did it. He made my brain malfunction. I thought they didn't have feelings for him. So why I feel so guilty for what we did to his dad? Why guilty for what we did to his dad? With his lips still throbbing and his eyes narrow, he pulled away from me. He looked uncertain. What the hell happened with my dad? I tensed up. Fuck, he knew. What? What are you talking about, Blaze? I had to be very careful choosing my words. What if he wants to talk to you that day when we were in the hallway, saying bullshit about academic performance? Credits, I muttered. Look, I'm not stupid. Hunter made that loud and clear. I stared at him without answering as he gazed at me with a hard look that didn't suit him. You're the ones who beat him up like that. I was a terrible liar, so I kept my mouth shut. Dex, I trusted you. Shit. If only things were so complicated, I was sure Blaze would have un- understood. Suddenly, I saw his suddenly I saw his forehead slacken and his eyes tear. Can you tell me why you did it? He was how could he be so sweet and understanding even in situations like this? That's why I couldn't then resist him. I can't. I don't think you understand. My voice faltered. Try me. The space between us was almost non-existent. I felt his heart race, dizzying as my chest and his collide, dizzying chest and as my chest and his collided. He walked, he wanted to talk, and there was probably a lot to talk about. But right then, I wanted to kiss him again, and clearly he was having trouble thinking. He was having trouble thinking. Otherwise, he wouldn't have kissed me back like that. Urged me to sick urged me to stick my tongue deeper into his mouth. Shh. What is it? I asked under his breath, running his fingers through his hair. It's James, I whispered, putting my finger to my lips. I knew from his footsteps. And Mace recognized him too. When we were heard him talking behind the door. Because he glanced at me distantly, almost disappointed. He he'll always come first, won't he? Shut your mouth. I trapped him against the wall with both hands. He grabbed my pocket and trapped him against the wall with both hands. He grabbed my jacket and pulled me toward him. Can't get can't get enough of me, I prodded on my as he pulled on my piercing with his teeth. We started kissing slowly, but my ears were perked up. I heard his distant voice mingle with James. Tay would never admit it, but she really got it bad for you. It was Tiffany. Don't, that's too bullshit, Tiff. She loves you, James. She loves you, James. She said she wants me dead. You must have a comprehension issue, Tiffany. James' gruff voice got more distinct and subdued. It didn't seem like he wanted to listen to her. Quit acting like a kid, Jamie. She She'd do anything for you. In fact, she always has, and you know it. I know, but I need time, and she stresses me out every day with the fucking past. She does it because it's her dad. She does it because if her dad find out, he go ballistic. He could even press charges. You don't have much time. Tiffany threatened. They don't want me. They don't want to. They don't want to give it back to me. Blaze immediately pulled his lips from mine, and I looked. Blaze immediately pulled his lips from mine and looked at me. His eyes were tangled with suspicion. Oh no! I came close to him again, but this time he was the one to mention for me to be quiet. Are you are you doing are you doing what they ask you to, Jamie? Tiffany piled on. Tiffany piled it on. I didn't hear the answer because there was too much background noise. Come to my place after, I heard her whisper. You morally the bankrupt. You're hardly a saint. We slept together the whole summer while she was on vacation with her parents. Did you forget that? I don't want to. Is it because Marvin's cousin? You you can't resist it and then adding another trophy to your collection, can you? Can you? Are you acting like this because I told you no, Tiff? I'm acting like this because I thought we were friends. I didn't want to tell you there's to go. I'll forget it. You'll never change. First footstep, then second, first footstep, first footsteps, then the sound of heels started to move away. They looked at me worried. What was all about? James said with Taylor and her best friend. What others knew? Don't pretend you didn't understand me, Jax. What are they talking about before? I look around, trying to hide the icy feeling meeting my bones. How was I supposed to tell them? Nothing, the unusual. He just tangled up with some shitty people. I couldn't tell him anymore. What's Taylor, his family, have to do with it? Does my dad have something to do with all this? I took a deep breath and started wandering around the closet. I'd never betrayed James, if that's the thing you're asking me. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. I'm not asking you to. But the question is, are you doing it because he's your best friend or because you're in love with him? My eyes are glued to the shelves as if the writing on the coffee packaging was much more interesting. No, it's not because no, is no, it's not because of that. He's my best friend and he never betrayed me. Jackson appreciated your loyalty, but you seem a little concerned for someone who's just a friend. Blaze, I call. When I noticed he turned his back to me. What is it? I wanted I wanted to be able to tell you everything. Really I do, but I can't. I remember we're leaning on the shelf. Blaze turned around to look at me the only way he could. The only way he could. Come and say sweet and that he really they got me. I mean, he could compassionate, sweet, and like he really got me. Do you really want to know how are between me and James? He nodded. We're friends. I just want to protect him. But how? But now it's too late. James is up to his neck in trouble. He came toward me, looking worried. I tried leaning in to kiss him again, but he turned his head. It's it's not that it's not a re approach, but a confirmation. You're crazy about him. He articulated, his voice creaking. You're crazy about him. He articulated, his voice cracking. Blaze, I don't play second fiddle to anyone, Jax. What do you say? You're in love with him. You just don't want to admit it. I started just scraping the broken glass strewn on the floor with with the tip of my Jordans. I'm not in love with anyone. I'm just confused, okay? I'm not even sure that. Blaze burst out laughing in my face. Maybe he was sure about what he felt and what he wanted. I wasn't. What if the last time you kiss a girl, the last time you, what, when was the last time you kiss a girl? The last time you like a girl? It's not easy. You can't just test me. No, Jax. There are questions. No, Jax. They're, they're just questions to make you face the truth. It's all a lot easier than you think. Because you don't seem to have any problem showing him affection. Affection? Is that what you want from me, please? No, he says, no, he's a friend, and he brings out my protective side. That's all. That asshole, he scrolled. I straightened my back, and Blaze suddenly seemed much shorter there than me. Don't talk, don't talk about him like that. You never would defend me like that. He concluded it before turning away. I tried to block him at the door before he could leave for real. Because he's my friend, but you. And what, Jax? I already told you, you're not my friend. Blaze narrowed his eyes like he wanted to understand what I was saying better. I can't resist you. Damn it. Don't you get it? I'm on slamming my hand on the door. That's it. You want to celebrate a win with me? The voice seemed broken with emotion. I could then bear the sight of him. It made him vulnerable. It made me feel weak. If there was one thing I was convinced of, it was that there was chemistry too strong to control between me and Blaze. It was important to ignore, and I was terrified that the more I tried to hide it, the more this situation would blow up in my face. Everyone will find out. They call me a liar because I've been pretending. If If that doesn't work for you, don't come looking for me anymore. I told him. I stopped breathing when I met his eyes. I needed to get out of there now. Fuck you, Blaze. I left. None of our friends were inside Tropical anymore, so I left to get some air. Where where the fuck did you go? We wanted to head out. Marvin was waving his arms in Marvin was waving his arms around next to the black Mustang. Do you want to leave? Clarified James, sitting in the driver's seat. Thanks, thanks for waiting for me. When I got into the passenger seat, James gave me a tired, weird, and anything but cheerful look. I only wanted one thing, to spend the night talking to him. But Marvin's cousin joined us, and it wasn't hard to figure out what was going to happen next. Then said to keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And James seemed to follow that to the letter because we always ended up at Club Zero, a nightclub managed by criminals turned millionaires from drug racing, illegal boxing, and gambling. Marvin loved that place because it was a strip club when girls waited lit on people half naked. William couldn't live without going there, especially 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 when there were races or poker games. While James did every a aforementioned activity. Are you competing? Not tonight. Marvin, cousin was cleaner than ever. We barely foot we barely found seats before she climbed in James's lap and put her arm around his neck. The James looked at her irritated, which made me laugh because I knew how much it bothered him to be chased like that, but some by someone when he barely knew. So is it true? So is it true what they say about you? I heard her whisper. What are you saying? He asked, curling his lips into a mischievous smirk. That you that you a god in bed? I don't know. You ought to find out. He caressed her bare thigh as he threw his head back every time she tried to kiss him. But this game of making her chase him in a fast. Soon after he opened his mouth and stuck his tongue down the girl's throat. I had to turn around. Just go at her and say over the blaring music. Great, go test her theory in real time. I'm rather irritated. I chugged the drink that James left and then look around. What a shithole. You're not going to fucking say anything? Asked Marvin, who didn't even know what he was after smoking a joint. What should I say? He snapped, sprawled on the couch. James is going to turn your cousin inside out like a glove. Why would I give a shit? Marvin wasn't remotely paying attention to me. He was so focused on the scantily clad woman sashed in between tables. I turned around to William, who was lost in thought. You really like chewing, huh? I teased him when I caught him laughing at his phone. I'm crazy about her. His naive expression was endearing, but Will fell in love easily. How did he be that crazy about someone he left just about someone about someone how crazy he be that be how crazy he be that how could he be that crazy about someone he just met a few weeks ago? Do you go often? No, but it's incredible. No, but he did. No, but it doesn't take 10 days for me to understand that she's incredible. He answered. He answered, his eyes glued to the screen. All right, so yourself. I patted his shoulder and headed to the bathroom. I had too much to drink, and I was starting to feel it. In the bathroom, I heard a murmur coming from the other stall, but with my foggy brain and the blare of music, I didn't pay attention. Fuck. Go gently. My eyes waited when I heard a familiar voice. Music changed from the electric pop to instrumental. Then I instantly heard noise. I unzipped my pants, and as soon as I turned toward the wall on my side, I unzipped my pants. And as soon as I turned toward the wall on my right, I heard rhythmic banging that got louder and closer. A few feminine moans mingled with the raspy arrows grunts. Distressed. I put both hands on my face and heard James repeat it so many times that there was no doubt who it was. There were louder thuds and and and, and then everything stopped. Here, James said after a while. Do you really think I had sex with you for drugs? He she exclaimed, horrified. Is that is that what all you want? From the gate from from the gate in the door. I saw him go to the sinks together. I hid as much as possible. I watched the reflections in the mirror through the gap. From the gap in the door, I saw him then go to the sinks together. I had as much string as possible as I watched the reflections in the mirror were to the gap. The cheeks were flush and her he had messy hair. He washed his hands, then bent down to the sink to snort some powder. It was like, "You would do it, don't you?" The girl asked him, running her hands over his back. He didn't answer. He lifted his head, staring at her vacantly, and she held out her hand to touch his face. James moved back. James moved back. I'm sorry for you. I don't want any pity, especially not yours, because you don't know shit about me. Deep down, you're a good guy. You just need someone who will take care of you. Don't touch me, he snarled. When he tried to caress his hand, James. When he tried to caress his hand, James. He walked out, leaving her alone. Don't touch me, he snarled. When he tried to caress his hand, James. He walked out, leaving her alone and confused. Where is he? I went back to Marvin and Will, who were playing pool and too focused on the game to listen to me. I don't know. We just approached me to whisper something in my ear, but I couldn't hear her over the blaring music. I grabbed a drink from the tray in her hands and went outside. When they held races, the place always filled up quickly, but when there weren't any events, the outside was deserted. It really did look abandoned. You're here. James was slouched over an arcade game, probably a 10-year-old pinball machine. Everything okay? They nodded. He kept vaping, his face illuminated by the purple neon light. Can that thing hold your weight? It certainly doesn't hold two of me, he snapped before slipping down to the dusty ground. He gave me a last look. I want to hug him. I thought, no, I couldn't. I, I crossed my legs and sat down next to him. I wonder what would. I wonder. I wonder. I wonder what Will would they've done in this predicament. He would have joked around and put him in a good mood again. And Marvin, he would ask him how his cousin was in bed. Dick. I wanted to I wanted to be like him, but I wasn't. I was myself in that sucker. I saw him lower his chin, like he was hiding his face in his jacket collar bucket. I hugged him. I put my arm around him and squeezed him toward me. I'm here if you need me, I whispered an inch away from his flustered cheek. You're the one who you're the only one who understands me, Jax. At least I try to. James turned his head. His pupils were enormous dilated and watery. I could see myself in them. Do you want to stick your tongue down my throat? He joked. What the fuck do you mean? I cleared my throat and backed away instantly. What's wrong, James? Everything's great, he answered, beating the inside of his cheek. You lay Nate, what are you whining about? I gave him a pat on the arm affectionately. There's something else, Marvin would say. James didn't laugh. He just shrugged. I could deal without it. Just want to get out of this shit. Austin got me. Austin got me by the balls. Just the name of the colonel in the moment made me shudder. Made me shudder. Of course, the issue wasn't Ethan Austin. It was his dad, the guy who controlled organized crime in Los Angeles. Do you still owe him a lot? It's not about the money, he said as I took another sip of my drink. Come on, tell me, what the fuck am I supposed to tell you, Jax? He put his soft lips on the vape pen mouthpiece, mouthpiece and turned it on. Let it up the dark. I want you to tell me what's going on. He closed his eyes to savor that poison better, then looked up at the sky. I don't feel complaining. Everything is fine, James. And Jamie, everything is fine, James, said Jamie. I demand using the term of endearment that the girls often call them. You really want to know? Look it up because it's a long story. Taylor is breathing down my neck because if his dad finds out about the pistol, he'll kill her. I had to keep coming here every night to sell his shit. But I take more than I sell. I have to keep an eye on Will because he's home alone and his parents aren't there. My dad is a pain in the ass, and if that isn't enough, I won't graduate if I don't keep studying. And then I never see my brother. He stopped to take a deep drag from his vape pen. God, do you see what the fucking win- God, do you see what a fucking whiner has become? He added reluctantly as the smoke came came out of his lips. Can you offer Austin money in exchange for the pistol? Can you ask your dad? I tried to find the most obvious situation. What if he asks who I owe such money to? What do I tell him? The truth? Shit, no. Besides, us and his family don't give a fuck about money. They want to be sure that I keep my mouth shut. That's why they'll never leave me alone. Whatever. That's why they never leave me alone. They will never leave me alone. We should never ask for help from people like them, I complained. As James started to bite his index fingernails with his scissors. No, but it was well. You weren't even the one to call him, James. We're together. Yeah, but you did it for him. And now you're the only one paying the consequences. I passed him my drink, which he quickly grabbed. The only positive thing is that the actual principal is doing what we asked him to do. Do you think Blaze suspects anything? I shook my head hurriedly. The principal knows we attacked him, but d- doesn't seem. The principal knows we attacked him, but d- doesn't. But that doesn't. But that doesn't understand why. But that. But doesn't understand why. How do you know? I know, and that's all. When I go back inside him, I my mouth shut the conversation down. Marvin was drawing over every waitress that passed by. The passes Marvin was drawing over every waitress that passed us by, and and all and all Will did was stare at his phone. Does it look like I want to go back inside? He passed me the drink, and we started laughing. 30 stop here.